is over, but the conversation is about to begin. It's time for the Black and Gold Rush with Travis and Ross.
The Heartland Trophy stays with the Iowa Hawkeyes as Iowa knocks off Wisconsin tonight 37-0. Yes, you are hearing that right, 37-0. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for giving us your Saturday night. If you're sitting back watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Give this video a like. And also leave your comments in the comments section. And don't forget, you can follow us on X at Rush Mornings. Facebook, The Rush with Travis and Ross. And, of course, The Rush Radio Show on Instagram. Ross Peterson is not here tonight. Filling in for the one and only Irish traveler is Tyler Kluver, host of the Washed-Up Walk-ons Podcast. Tyler, if you would have told me before this game started that Iowa won, I would not have been surprised. If you would have said 37-0, I would have said you're smoking crack. There's no way I was going to fall for a shutout, let alone a 37-0 shutout.
There are some issues in Madison, Wisconsin, and God, it just feels good that it's not Iowa City. Like it feels fun to be on the other side of that. Welcome in, everybody. Super stoked to be here. That's not Ross. Who is this guy?
No, it's good to have you here, man.
I am so excited to do this, despite the fact that I would be just closing my eyes on a normal night, 2 young kids. But this is the kind of stuff I really do love doing. And on a Saturday night, I can give up a couple hours of sleep. We'll sleep in tomorrow morning. Especially easy to do when the Hawks win by over 30 points. That just doesn't happen a lot. Even when they control games, they don't win like that.
No, and that's the weird thing. I mean, Iowa dominated the run game. They dominated the clock. They dominated almost every single phase of this. Turnovers, but 37-0 against Wisconsin. And I put this out on X earlier. I said, hey, Iowa looks like it could beat any team in the country, but yet again, Wisconsin looks like it's the worst team in the country. What's more surprising to you, the 37-0 blowout, or the fact that Wisconsin has fallen so far from what Wisconsin is? I was looking at those throwback uniforms going, when they wore those, that was before Barry Alvarez and you weren't very good. Maybe you shouldn't have brought out the throwback uniforms tonight, because that program is in shambles.
God, it's I don't know. So many questions in the chat. I've got the chat up. I love interacting with people. This is going to be fun tonight. I don't know how far Fickell makes it. Does he make it to Monday morning? Does he make it to the NFL start of the games tomorrow? I don't know. The shocking part about all this is how fast it can happen. And I mean, this is a team that, and we've had their number a little bit, but they were still respectable. I remember in 2020, a game where there was no fans in the stands, and I believe Tyler Goodson ran all over them that night. And snow was sort of falling towards the end of that game. It wasn't like a snow game, but there was a little bit of snow coming down. And I just remember thinking, man, this is wild. We do not beat Wisconsin, and we do not beat them like this. And now you look up 5 years later from that point, these programs are on far different levels. And the back end question about this, Travis, is this is a prime example of the other extreme of what you're seeing with Cignetti in Indiana. And it's it is very, very likely to be the more often scenario when you turn over a coach. And as Iowa nears that time in its general time frame with Coach Ferentz, whether that's at the end of this year or 3 years from now or 5 years from now, something to remember.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Were they screwed up with Luke Fickell? I'm not saying Luke Fickell's a bad coach. I don't think that's fair. It is about fit, right? And when he came in, he changed the whole dynamic of what Wisconsin was from a culture standpoint, from a style of football standpoint. Wanted to get back to the running game this year, and it's just been a very hard transition for him. He might be good at Cincinnati. He might be good in the MAC. He is not a fit at Wisconsin, and I'm with you. The big question is, can Wisconsin come up with $25 million to pay him out? I'm not a big fan of big buyouts. James Franklin, I think, is $56 million.
Yeah.
Luke Fickell's $25 million. These are obscene and absurd amount of money because when you're getting fired, that means you're not producing. If I get fired from my job, I get probably a 4-week severance and a thank you if they want to get rid of me, right? It's like, hey, thanks for your years of service. We're going to give you 4 weeks pay. Be on your merry way. Here, these guys cash in lots of money. And I get it. They've got good agents. They work these deals. They're scared they're going to leave. But, man, that really hamstrings universities because you need fans in the stands. And we're going to talk a lot about Iowa tonight because there's a lot of good things to talk about. But you cannot ignore the elephant in the room, and that is how far Wisconsin has fallen. Let's go to the phones. By the way, this is a call-in show, 515-517-2303. So get the phone calls coming in. We're here for the next hour and a half, 2 hours to entertain you as best we can.
Get the phones out, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go to Tom in North Liberty. Tom, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on, man? Tom, you there?
Tommy.
Tom.
He fell asleep.
He must have fallen asleep. Either that or he. Yeah, I don't know where.
Or his blood alcohol content is the same as as one of those guys arrested outside the stadium today at Madison. I saw there was like a 3.337 BAC out there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
He had like a milk jug of liquor with him.
I lived in Wisconsin for about a year and a half, and I don't think I ever drank as much money or drank as much alcohol as I did when I lived in Wisconsin. Let's start with Mark Granowski. He was a game time decision, and he practiced. They said they were going to make the decision today, which they did. He started. I could make the argument he may have looked better today than he has all year. 11 of 24, 107 yards. Not a lot of passing yards. He did have the one pick. Limited on his running game. He had four rushes for 9 yards. He did have a TD, but he didn't look injured to me. Did he look injured to you?
I kind of disagree with that. There were several times with.
Okay, that's fair.
He looked maybe a little bit unsure. And I think it's something that a lot of guys like us on the microphone all week speculated about is maybe he's not hurt. Maybe he's physically ready to go. But what does that do to your psyche when you step on the football field and you realize, okay, I've put myself out here? That's a free go for everybody on the defense. I remember when I played linebacker in high school. We're going back a ways now. Whenever you could get a sense of like somebody gets up slow, it's like when animals in the wild see like another wounded animal, wounded prey, and they go in for the kill. It's the same animalistic kind of thing that a defense sees when they like. So I had to imagine that these guys were licking their chops. But Mark's a tough SOB. He's proven that. He was serviceable, and I think he was. I mean, obviously, we won the game 37-0, but. He was serviceable enough that he could dink and dunk that defense, which is really bad. There's a lot to talk about there too, because we were told this is a run-stopping defense, and I have a theory.
And that's fair.
I have some theory on that. He was good enough. There were several times where he quick throw, sits down right in the hole, a little hitch, a little curl route, and he's able to do that. He's able to make that throw. Really exciting, by the way. Hecklinski got in at the end there. He ripped one out. He ripped one out to the flat. He looks like he can throw the ball around a little bit.
And we'll get into that and who the backup is now, because we always thought it was Hank Brown. Then they had the bye week, and those two ran number 1 and number 2, and we kind of know who the backup is now. But let's try the phones again at 515-517-2303. Let's try Tom in North Liberty again. Tom, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on? Tom. Tom, your phone's not working.
This
I know.
Guy.
Well, let's see. I don't think it's on my end, but let's
I think you would be able to hear him if on the back end.
Yeah, I know. Let's try Justin in Urbandale. We got really slow internet trying to get this thing on the air. Hold on now.
Tom passed out. Justin passed out. Everybody.
Justin, are you there?
Oh no.
Oh
no.
Don't tell me.
Guess what? It's two bald guys for 2 hours. Welcome in.
It could be. Well, that's weird. Because you heard me dial into the phones. You heard it. You heard.
I heard you. I heard you link in before we went live.
So let's keep it going with maybe that's why I thought Granowski looked better than maybe he actually was, because Wisconsin was so damn bad, right?
It's really hard to tell. You almost feel like you could go back to Deacon Hill or any of these guys we've had the last 3 years, the dark years, as we like to refer to them on the Walk-On podcast. It didn't even matter. You Petrus, Padilla, Carson May, like all these guys that we've had on our depth chart the last 4 or 5 years, throw anybody in there. We could have, Alabama's working that Wildcat with Caden Proctor. We could throw, maybe Jennings Dunker back there. And it feels like we could have won that game with anybody. The run game was just down your throat. Like to win the game that way against that team. And I know they're not that team anymore, but man, from a guy who played when they were that team, they had Melvin. I went up against Melvin Gordon, Monty Ball earlier in the career.
I mean, they brought Ron Dane out tonight. I mean, you just brought up. I mean, there's Ron Dane, Monty Ball, Melvin Gordon. I mean, just think of the players that they've had, and they're nowhere near that anymore.
They don't have a single guy. I mean, watching that offense is eerily similar to watching what Iowa was in 22 and 23. And so we understand more than anybody the pain that Wisconsin fans are in right now. That is really, really tough. And the defense was like their one thing that they're like, well, they can kind of stop people on the run though. They can. And then I looked at the stats. We were lied to. They've played. So here, Travis, I went and found the rankings heading into this weekend. They played 5 games against Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan. Who's the other one? Somebody else. The Michigan is the highest ranked rushing offense that they've played in 5 games before us. And they're like top 10 in the country. They ran for nearly 200 on Wisconsin. The other 4 teams were ranked 79th, and then the other 3 were all in the 100s of rush offense. They just haven't played anybody that can run the football.
And if you go back and watch that Michigan game, Michigan ran all over them. I mean, statistically beat the crap out of them, and Wisconsin, the score was a lot more closer than what the statistics and just the visual test would tell you.
Yeah. So this whole narrative of like, well, Iowa's thing is they run the ball, and Wisconsin's one thing is they can. We were just kind of scared of a paper tiger all week. Yeah. This Wisconsin team is bad. They are bad. I don't know how long Fickell lasts. $25 million in today. Aren't we getting some private equity money in the Big Ten here soon?
Yeah, $2 billion.
25 mil is nothing. Bring it in, and I mean, get Jerry Neuheisel or whatever his son's name is, or which one's his son?
It is Jerry.
Jerry's the son.
Rick is the dad. Jerry's the son.
I mean, at this point, he's done more as the OC in 2 weeks, in 9 days at UCLA to warrant being a head coach of a program than Fickell's done. You see Fickell come out middle of the game. He's in these huddles. He looks like he's out to lunch. I mean, this is unbelievable. They don't even care. So they would keep shifting the camera, spanning on the fans, and I'm just sitting there talking to my wife, going, "God bless these people. They're just staying in the stadium. They're down 30-0. They're in a bad spot."
Very bad spot. Let's try this one more time. 515-517-2303. Tom in North Liberty, you there? He's not there.
Oh no. I think at this point, the odds on the sports books would be, is it Travis? minus 120.
It might be. I got my engineer here solving this problem because we got a bunch of people in queue.
We could go over some of these comments on the side. These comments are amazing.
If you want to bring some up, go ahead.
I don't think I can pull them in, but just some of the people that are like, Tom's dead. Tom's laying dead in North Liberty. A lot of talk about Penn State, which is very, very interesting. Probably we'll get into a lot of conversation tonight about the Nittany Lions after what is now 3 losses in a row in the Big Ten. I had to chat GPT before the show. When's the last time, say Iowa beats them next week in Kinnick, night game. They're not doing well. They don't have Drew Aller anymore. Are they going to have James Franklin? I don't know what the line's going to be on this game. It feels like Iowa is now the favorite. When's the last time?
Do you think Iowa will be the favorite against Penn State?
I don't. I still think Penn State will be like, it'll be a pick-up, like -1, -1.5, somewhere around there. But it's crazy to think now how perception can change, and that game, unfortunately, because it would have been cool to beat a good Penn State team, right? But now they're just reeling. So that now, do the Hawks get another win? 5-2. Now the season looks a little bit different. We did technically better on the scoreboard in a home game versus Indiana than Oregon did against Indiana. By the way, Autzen Stadium doesn't have shit on Kinnick. I don't watch a lot of Oregon games, but that I don't get the hype around that stadium. Like, I'd be more scared to come to Kinnick and play than I would to go out to Autzen Stadium in Oregon. Now the Oregon game feels maybe a little bit winnable, right? Like Indiana goes and proves.
Well, I think they all feel winnable at this
point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
After watching tonight, they all feel winnable. I had my good friend Dr. Rob Zadiska, who's a former Nebraska player, text me. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "the winner of the Nebraska-Iowa game might get the last playoff spot. That may be for a playoff spot."
Iowa's got a lot more work than Nebraska does on the road to that, but it theoretically could happen. And Nebraska looks ultra beatable. I mean, Maryland has been better than expected, but they had a downer last week. Washington, or who did they get beat by last week? Somebody came back. Was it Washington that came back on them last week?
On Maryland, yeah. Okay, Maryland was up big and then gave up 20 unanswered, I believe, in the second half.
So they're no killer, doing good, but no killer. And they went and took Nebraska to the wire. Probably should have won that game. They gave up a lot there. And I mean, who else is on this? I got USC pulled up on the sideline here, or they're doing well against Michigan at the time that I was watching them. But
yeah, they were up 21-7 last I saw.
There's just not a game left on the schedule. USC, honestly, maybe feels like the scariest matchup at this point, just because of the spot, the away nature of that, and to be fair, like everybody else Oregon's going to be really tough too. But those two games, I mean, it's a completely different perception of the season relative to you lose to Indiana and you're like, oh my God, are we going to lose to it's crazy how things can change in just a couple of days.
I mean, Indiana beating Oregon changes your whole mindset on the Indiana game, right? Yeah. I mean, so now you're like, oh, okay. But we have to remember how bad Wisconsin is too. So, I mean, it's one of those things you want to look ahead. You want to feel good. You want to say, hey, this team is legit. Yeah, but Iowa State losing to Colorado today. It's like, where did that come from?
I think if you feel any better about the rest of Iowa's season right now today, because of what transpired today, it's probably because of what the other teams did and not so much about Iowa. This is a glaring problem with Wisconsin. And I don't think anyone's sitting here going, when we whomped Wisconsin, that really means something. It's more of the other stuff like, Oregon got beat at home by 10 to Indiana, a team we should have beat. Penn State, 0-3. They've lost to UCLA, Northwestern. They now don't have their quarterback, maybe their head coach. So it's the other stuff that's going on. It feels good because it always, you get to about this time in the year and there's several teams who are now in a spot where it's like, we have nothing left to play for. The Hawks have a lot to play for and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how this is all working out. We can talk about Penn State for a little bit, and that is, and we got a lot to get with the Iowa game. I mean, the Aaron Graves pick was awesome. That was totally awesome. I think Penn State has been beaten by Oregon 3 straight weeks in a row. I mean, you have this. Okay, they got beat at home by Oregon, night game. They go out and get beat by UCLA. Didn't see that coming. And I think they just got this big hangover once they lost to UCLA. That whole team just thinks it's all over with. And to lose at home to Northwestern, oh, my God. Oh, my God. But it changes the whole perspective for Iowa now. And that's what's crazy about this whole thing. If you would have told me a week ago I was going to have a shot at the playoff, I'd have been no way, no way. And now I'm like, okay, my mind can be changed fairly quickly.
I'm a little concerned. I don't know who Penn State's backup quarterback is. I'm imagining they have at least on paper, a good talent behind Drew Aller. He's an older guy, so there's probably a few guys that have been able to develop into a second string behind him. And Penn State just doesn't get bad recruits. So there's somebody with talent back there, obviously less experience. I kind of hope that James Franklin isn't fired between now and next Saturday, because what happens when a coach, you just saw it with Deshaun Foster. When a coach gets fired, this team now has nothing to lose. They are playing just result free. And it almost feels like sometimes when a coach gets fired, the team goes out and just goes crazy the next week for whoever the new guy is, right? They do. Well,
they didn't do it for the new guy at UCLA. It took them to fire their offensive coordinator and bring in Jerry Neuheisel to run the offense, which Ross and I talked about this earlier in the week. Was it one of those cases where Neuheisel had to shoot a shot and say, hey, I know how to run this team. I'm going to play to Nico Imalivala's strengths. I have this idea for the offense. Do you go in and say, hey, we're all going to lose our freaking jobs if we don't make a change here? Give me a shot. Let me run the damn thing. And here we go.
I hope that there's not some weird spark of, Penn State finally pulls it together after 3 weeks in Iowa City, in a spot where you would never expect it, right? Night game in Kinnick Stadium. Even if the program's rolling at that point and everything's going right, that's a spot where you think, they might get got there. And then now it's a spot where like the line's going to be much closer than it was a few weeks ago. That the Drew Aller thing is a huge thing. They obviously clearly, and maybe the best part about this last 3 weeks is that now Iowa has a ton of tape on how to beat them.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that those three teams have done to get stuff to work against them. It's going to be a real interesting week from the outside perspective of what is going to come of this game. It's kind of like this Wisconsin game doesn't feel like a traditional Iowa-Wisconsin game. This Penn State-Iowa game is just so helter-skelter. It's just got this weird element to it that's just not regular.
Kamari Moulton had 15 carries, 96 yards, averaged 6.4 yards per carry. He did have one touchdown, longest of 29. Xavier Williams had that nice fourth quarter touchdown run. He had 55 yards and 7 carries, almost 8 yards per carry. They just dominated up front and in the run game today, 210 yards on the ground.
Iowa football, baby. I looked at last year, obviously Caleb Johnson ran over a lot of people, 6.1 yards a carry. I mean, against this Wisconsin team, it's a completely different. I wonder if there's anybody on the staff over in Madison that's still there from like a decade ago who's just sitting there going, this isn't what we.
If they are, they would probably be like in athletic training.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like
trainers or a doctor who's like, this is not what what we were doing 10 years ago. Yeah. The run game was incredible. We were downhill. Our offensive line was dominating. We looked good. The play calls looked good. There was a lot of, there's some nuance to Leicester's run game that is just better than what Brian was doing. And the one play that sticks out to me was it was a down where we were already in control of the game. It was maybe 17 or 20 to 0 at this point, and it was a clear running down, 3rd and 4 or 5, and we brought Gill in motion. And then right before the ball was snapped, he does that kind of like put his foot in the ground and go back in motion out the other way. We leave the D end for him to just get a body on. And we wash everything to the left side. He takes that D end on the right side. It opens up a massive hole, and we run it in for a touch. It was when we ran it in for a touchdown. So I can't remember exactly when that was. Maybe that was to make it 17-0. There's a lot of nuance there, and we're doing a lot of things. We're doing a lot of things that honestly Wisconsin used to do to our defense when they had the 6'6", 330-pound average offensive line, and they'd run a lot of that cross action on their traps and their like. Oh man, I almost tweeted, well, we must have given Tim Lester the reins of the offense tonight. Kirk gave it to Tim tonight because things are going right.
515-517-2303. We're still trying to get the phone lines fixed up. We're going to take a quick break. It's about a minute break. Keep your comments coming in the comment section. This is the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios.
With the new Blackout Scratch ticket from the Iowa Lottery, you can win the game day experience of your dreams.
That'll be $5.
Enter for a chance to win a VIP experience cheering on the Hawkeyes from the Ironman Suite at Kinnick Stadium.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
Welcome back to the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. I'm Travis Justice.
And I'm Tyler Kluver.
I know, sorry. We're trying to get I've got several voices going on in my head right now.
And I am Ross Peterson. I
That's
shaved
right.
my head and got ultimately so much more jacked.
Hey, Tyler, I'm going to have you talk for a little bit.
Yeah, let me go,
dude. Just start going because I'm gonna dial in here real quick.
Oh yeah, baby. First of all, thank you to everyone who showed up tonight because I know I'm not Ross, and this is a vibe thing that Ross and Travis have had for a while, and I am definitely a little bit different. I have a little bit of a different feel. Hopefully, you're not turned off by that, and I'm glad that you're joining the show. Lots of funny comments on the side. I'm blessed to help host this show, not only tonight, but next week. It'll be the opposite configuration where I'm still over here and Ross will be over there. So you guys will get the chance. I'll have a chance to know who's better as a co-host, Ross or Travis, and they will, and you guys, the listeners, will get to know who is the better duo between me and Travis or me and Ross. And you guys can vote on that. We'll put up a poll.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
And then whoever's worse, I will step in for them, and I will start making the money that they make on the show, and it'll be all good. Now, maybe in the meantime of me bullshitting around here, Travis has figured out the phone line. Hopefully, he has.
Let's see. Let's just test this real quick. We'll see if Tom, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here, bud.
Let's go. Tom isn't dead. Let's go.
Victory.
We got victory.
Yeah, let's go.
What's up, buddy?
Travis, I had no idea you had this. I was at this thing tonight, and Ginger that calls in?
Yeah.
Sometimes? Yeah, she's like, oh, you got to call this show. I'm like, this show? I didn't know there was this show.
Well, why don't you...
I've been calling all year, bud.
How come you haven't, listened to Ross and I in the mornings? We're around every day. We're right here.
Travis, I know, and I'm going to start, but here's the deal, bud. Remember, I retired from the Army like 16 months ago. I sleep in now, bud. I don't do nothing. I'm a house husband, man. It's the best job in the world.
Nice.
Wow, that's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I got an 8th grader that's, out here hitting 330-foot bombs, home runs in the summer. I got to run him around all his stuff, man. It's tough business. Tough business.
He's got
I'm calling in every week now with you guys.
That's where you should be.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey, guess what?
What?
He's our catcher, and we've nicknamed him Little Dumper. He hates it. It's great.
Nice. Nice. What do you got, Tom?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Little Tom, right? Hey. So Travis.
Yeah.
If you would have told me tonight that we were gonna beat these guys by this much, I said you're freaking crazy, right?
Yes, I would agree.
I'm blown away. Like offense, defense, everything looks good, and I think you guys are right. Penn State will probably be favored next week. And I mean, I think the rub there is, right, like their backup quarterback, you don't have a lot of tape on him, right? So that'll be interesting to see. But man, it's a night game at Kinnick. I think we're going to run them out of there. And I'll tell you this. Are you sure Fickell's thing's $25 million? I
Yes.
thought I heard 31, and after the season it went to 25.
Well, 25-31 at this point. Who cares? I mean, that's just another $6 million. It doesn't matter at this point.
I had a friend text me tonight in the first half of the Iowa game that said, who gets fired first, Fickell or Franklin? I said Franklin. Then he texted me back before halftime, and he said, I don't think Fickell makes it to halftime.
Yeah. I'm not convinced James Franklin gets fired. I think James Franklin
I'm not either.
Here's what I think happens. And you guys might think I'm wrong here. James Franklin will finish out the season, and he will find a new job. Florida is going to come open. There's going to be some other jobs that come open, and I wouldn't be surprised if they even waived the buyout fee and said, go ahead and be on your merry way. We won't take a buyout, but I think James Franklin finishes the season out at Penn State, and he gets another job after this. That's just my prediction.
I think you're right. Yeah, I agree with you. And you see this? I think I saw an article this week. They're saying James Franklin's the guy before the guy, right? Like he built Vandy up, and now the Vandy coach is taking them, right? Like he built Penn State back up a little bit. Now we'll see what happens. But hey, man, it's good to be back. And Travis, I'm going to do like I always do. Next week, I'll call you when we're done beating up on Slippery Rock.
Okay.
You like those?
Next week it's going to be Tyler and Ross next week. I've got a fundraiser I've got to MC next week, but it's going to be Tyler and Ross next week.
Hey, and Little Tom's going to the game with me, so he'll be on. But you make sure and pass on to Ross that I'll be there. Me and Little Dumper will be in.
Hey, it's good to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, good to hear from you guys. Talk to you soon. Go Hawks.
Thanks. Go Hawks.
This guy's
Tom from
Little Dumper, bro.
Little Dumper. That's what he calls him. Little Dumper. Little Dumper.
God.
All right, the phone lines are now back and open, 515-517-2303. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
How's it going?
Good.
We're just out here in Lacona, Iowa. Love you. Love your show.
Hold on. Where's Wacona? Hold on. Where's Wacona at?
Lacona? It's 10 minutes north of Sheridan.
Okay. What do you got?
I was about to tell you, 6'3", 280 pounds.
Wow, you're a big
and
dude.
Loved watching the Hawkeyes march all over Wisconsin tonight.
Oh, yeah.
It was fantastic. Got a bonfire going, and I got my boy Hayden here. He's got something to say.
Okay.
Breaking news!
Break.
The entire Wisconsin football team just got traded to the local cheese factory because they are better at making cheese than playing football.
That's what we got.
That's
love
what you got.
Love your show.
Let's go,
Thanks,
Hayden.
brother. Appreciate it.
Now, what are the odds? If the odds are very good that kid was named after Hayden Fry.
Oh, 100%. Now, when you went to name your kids, did you consider? Consider any?
You want to know actually what's funny is Hayden was a name that we considered for a girl, and it had nothing to do with Hayden Fry, but we just liked it for a girl. We did not end up going with that. For anyone that follows the podcast and me knows, but yeah, it was one, and we had the conversation that was like, if we do this, people are going to think. But we got lucky. It ended up not being the name. You want to know a name though? Ethan Grunkemeyer.
See the backup?
He will be the quarterback likely that steps into a night game in Kinnick Stadium as his first start for the Penn State Nittany Lions. He's a redshirt freshman, 6'2", 207 out of Lewis Center, Ohio. And he's completed, let's see, 1 of 2 passes for 9 yards in his first appearance.
Man.
Ethan, welcome to Iowa City.
I mean, you've been part of that night game atmosphere in Iowa City. We've watched it, but you've been on the field for that. How intimidating will that be for this kid?
It's going to be, especially with the circumstance, because now Iowa fans, if against Penn State, rolling it up to this game for the last 6 weeks, has there ever been a moment this season where we thought we had more of a chance to win this game? No. It's at all-time highs right now.
Which scares me a little bit. Right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm scared too. But nonetheless, that will be the intensity level. Night game against Penn State with a real chance to win it off a huge win against Wisconsin. rolling. Another week of health for hopefully Granowski. I mean, hopefully he's not banged up against. I don't think anything would have gotten him tonight that made it worse. That place is going to be absolutely juiced. It's going to be very difficult. And if I like the pressure rate, by the way, defensively that we maintain. There was a good amount of blitzing tonight, a lot of stunts. Parker and the D is doing a little bit more than they usually do. And that will certainly continue next week against the guy who just isn't experienced. And that's the biggest thing that can fluster a quarterback is pressure and having guys come from all over the place. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for our guy, Ethan. And it's, we're likely on the good side of that. Now, it doesn't change the fact that they have two of the best running backs, potentially the two best running backs in the conference.
Yeah, let's not forget Penn State still has talent.
That's
what we cannot
Iowa
forget.
could very easily lose next week. Like, they are still top to bottom a better roster than us. It doesn't matter. The last 3 weeks make, and I don't have to say this, it doesn't matter to any of us. We can say whatever we want for the next 7 days. Coach Ferentz will make sure the guys on the inside know. Yeah, they've lost 3 games. They were all higher recruits than you for a reason. Right. So there will be a way that the guys on the inside and the staff swing this to where like that, this is their last hurrah or whatever. The guys will be ready. It's going to be a raucous environment for the Nittany Lions when they walk into Kinnick next week.
515-517-2303. Again, phone lines are now open, folks. We've got our technical difficulties solved. Let's go to Richard, who's part of the Bush family. It's always good to hear from the Bush family on a Saturday night. Richard, what's going on? Maybe. Richard, you there? Richard.
The phone's working now, so he might be dead. He might actually be gone. Richard's
he might have fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Richard, you there? Wow.
Missed his chance.
He did miss his chance. Let's try this one. Justin in Urbandale. Justin, are you there? Oh, that's weird.
Do you think you just have them on hold in the back, right?
Well, I've got a call screener and everything. They're all on hold, and for
you
some reason,
you think they put their phone down and they go like get a chips and dip or a new beer?
That's a
or
good
something?
question because we had the 2 calls and then they weren't there, so I have no idea.
I can just imagine if I'm a little intoxicated, I'm sitting there on my phone. I'm on hold. We'll see when I can come on. You put your phone down for a second. You go grab another one out of the fridge. Right. Or for me, it'd be like, I'd probably go to the cottage cheese. I'm a big cottage cheese at night guy.
I like
every single person in the chat is just like, that makes so much sense for Kluver.
Are you a big curd or a small curd guy?
We like the small curd. Yeah, we're a small curd guy. Fairway cottage cheese. Big fairway shopper.
One of the nice surprises tonight, Reese Vandery back in the lineup. He had 3 catches, 29 yards, targeted 4 times. And he had a long of 13. So got some use out of Vandery tonight. And if he can continue to get more targets and more catches, that's good news for the Iowa offense because it adds a different receiving dynamic with Weegan, with what they had back there. I mean, that's just another weapon that's going to give Tim Lester some options.
Yeah, there was a moment where they panned over to the sideline, and it was the receiver part of the sideline, and you could see it started at Vandery, and then it kind of panned across, and it was Dayton Howard. And I think walking behind them was Kamari Moulton, and the size difference. It was like, oh my God, we have to find ways to get 15 and 7 on the field at all times. These guys are monsters. And I think you could kind of sense, even in his limited time, his limited targets, what we really lost with Vandery. He is a security blanket for Mark. I think Mark feels really good with him. He made a couple great plays in just the few catches that he had. And body-wise, it just, the eye test doesn't lie very often. And he's out there. He's just a guy that physically looks the part. And so, yeah, it really sucks that we didn't have him for the first 5 games. Can't do anything about it. Penn State's sitting there right now going, it really sucks we don't have Drew Aller for the last 6 games. Everybody's got a situation like that. But hopefully hopefully he felt good tonight. Conditioning always a question when you come back for something like that. It would be nice to have him as a feature, potentially the feature guy of the passing game moving forward. And it was good to see that even with Mark a little dinged up, his first game back, they still connected 3 times on important plays. Hopefully we see that evolve over the next few weeks.
Richard, are you there? Richard. Man.
Oh my God. Somebody's voodoo.
I've had this software for 2 years now. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me.
The first time? No.
Yes.
Oh
first time it's ever happened to me.
This whole podcast broadcasting game, since we've been in it, the learning curve of, especially for me, dumb football player, long snapper, just was like, hey, we'll do a podcast, and then you got to figure out microphones and cords and mixers and online software and hardware. The amount of technical difficulties in the last 8 years is enough to honestly put a lot of people just out of doing it. They're just like, we're not going to do it.
Yeah. And it's weird because, you heard me dial in, you heard the whole thing. So you think, okay, this is rolling along.
We took 2 calls.
Yeah. We took 2 calls and then it just disappears. You're like,
Kyle said Kluver's the issue. Could be.
That's a very, very good point.
Could be.
Because you're the outlier here. You're the new one. I'm just going to blame you. That's the easy thing to do.
Do it, and there's no repercussion for me or you really on that, other than maybe people might not show up next week, but who knows? You're not making a great case for the old Ross versus Travis with Kluver debate here.
Iowa 5 for 5 in the red zone. Another thing that kind of surprised me: Wisconsin went for it twice on 4th down. They passed both times.
Both times. And it was 4th and short.
Yes.
Now, we were stuffing them pretty good too. But there was they got a few runs on us. They had a couple good running plays. The
first 4th down, the guy just dropped the damn ball. I mean, it was a first down. It was a well-thrown ball. It went right to him. The second 4th down, you're like, ooh.
I didn't see play. I actually didn't see the first one. I missed half of that drive, the second half of that drive, because I was putting my daughter to bed, and I came back and had to look at the play-by-play online, and I saw that we stopped them on 4th down. That 4th down stuff is really big. That is what kept us in the game against Indiana. They were 0 for 3. Cohen Intringer was huge coming off the edge, and the pressures that Coach Parker and the defense was sending on those 4th and shorts. They ran the ball, and we stuffed them. You can't point to one thing that Wisconsin did tonight and say, yeah, they were really rolling there. They really had that going. I mean, it's I would love to know what the post-game show for the Wisconsin Badgers sounds like right now. It's so much different than this. And we're not even sitting over here on the Iowa side of things in an amazing spot. Like, we have a very, very outside chance of being in the playoff conversation. We're going to have a good to maybe above average year if things go well. And the difference in our tone and the feeling of when you just win a game, we used to say this all the time on the inside, winning is good medicine. Winning football games is good medicine, and it works every time.
Well, I'm even feeling it tonight with this show. I mean, 2 weeks ago when they got beat by Indiana, it was fire Ferentz again. It was like, hey, our time has passed us by. I don't know.
After the Indiana game?
It was.
No.
It did. This show can go off the rails sometimes, and because we let people say whatever they want, we don't edit anybody. It was fire Ferentz. The only thing I didn't like about Ferentz's call tonight was right before halftime. They were running a beautiful 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
Beautiful 2-minute drill, and then the last play, they can't get off, and did they have an illegal procedure there, I believe, and then they had to kick the field goal?
Yeah, there was a false start when they did finally run the play, and it looked like there was some confusion because it took 2 of the offensive guys who were on the field like 10 seconds to get back to the line of scrimmage. They were downfield on routes. They seemed to be under the impression that we were just going to take the timeout. The rest of the guys kind of sort of hurried up to the line. There was definitely miscommunication there. That is obviously on Coach Ferentz. Everything is at the end of the day. But I wonder how much of that was Lester thinking, hey, we've got another play that we want to run here. And half the guys were like, okay, let's do it. Everybody's kind of waiting for Coach Ferentz to step in and just take the timeout. I don't think those things are always as cut and dry when you're in the shit as people think they are from your spot on the couch on TV, watching TV. But yeah, that was tough. I don't know if we were going to score a touchdown there. Certainly could have had an easier field goal try. Nonetheless, Stevens knocked it through. Stevens looked great tonight. The snapper and holder looked great tonight. Huh? Everybody in the comments, give it up for the special teams operation. Let's go. But yeah, it wasn't great. And here's the deal, though. You go to every single fan base in America, and at some point, often multiple times, you'll see, we love this guy. We love this staff. They've been great for this team. Their time management sucks every year. And it's every single program. There's not a single coach. There probably is a couple, but the vast majority of coaches, you're going to find when you ask them about time management, people are going to go, yeah, he could be better. He's just not good enough for me. That's just your general answer. But Drew knocked it through 23-0 at half. It felt good. It felt that one, you don't expect touchdown. The other two, it kind of hurt. It sucks when you get to the red zone and you don't finish with touchdowns. Tonight, it didn't matter. And that feels good.
You kind of got the feel for this game right away with the 3 turnovers, just bang, bang, bang. You had a fumble, I believe, and 2 picks. The Aaron Graves pick was the fun one, right?
Thick 6.
I think it was like I forget who the TV guy was, but it was like, how did he not see him just right there? It was just like.
Yeah,
boom.
It was odd, the angle of it. When you watch the replay, it's like, he literally does that quarterback, does Simmons have money on the Hawks here? Because he threw it right to him.
Right to him.
I feel so bad for Aaron Graves. He didn't get the touchdown. I feel so bad because there's just not a lot of opportunities as a defensive lineman that you're going to get. And it's tough. Like, you get down there. Then I'm thinking, oh, God, can we put Hank or Hecklinski in the game? I don't want to push Mark Granowski into a big pile of men right now. But Mark, man, he's tough. He gets it in there. And yeah, after that, it really felt, they were just giving us the ball. I called it too. If anybody listened to our shows this week, this was the week we were going to get multiple interceptions, and we did. We did.
You did. It's
didn't think it was going to be 2 defensive linemen, but we did.
All right, I'm going to try this again just because they've been waiting on hold. Pat, are you there? Man, I don't know what the deal is.
All right, we're going to have to start taking comments exactly what everybody wanted. And the first comment is, Kluver, what's in the shaker bottle? Water, baby. H2O. H2O. That's what we got. Somebody else on Twitter asked, how much caffeine is in the system? It is way past your bedtime. Correct on the latter part of that. The first answer is 0. Should have.
What time do you normally go to bed?
So the kids go down about 7:30, and then the wife and I like to get about 1 episode of TV in, and then head to bed. So I laid down right about 9 o'clock, usually out by 9:30.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're too young to go to bed that early. Are you one of these fitness guys that says you got to have the 7 or 8 hours sleep?
Yeah, I don't want to get into the fitness thing and act like people know that I'm way too self-centered around that already. But yes, the way over amount of training I do fitness-wise requires me to sleep well and consistently. Otherwise, my body feels worse than it already does. So yeah, especially at 31 now, it's not like when I was 21, unfortunately. And yeah, the sleep is, for anybody out there, sleep is literally like a legal PED. It is that good. It's that good.
Wow, a legal PED.
If you could bottle sleep and sell it, it would be the best-selling supplement in the market. That's how good sleep does for your body and all the systems and processes of the biology. So yeah,
I get about 4 to 5 a night. That's all I get.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
You got to remember, I work a different job besides my radio gig. I've got, and then I do like 3 other podcasts. So I stay fairly busy with that. But you know what? I've always been like that. I've always been like that.
That hurts me. But hey, if you can if you can run like that, if you've got gas still, then hey, all more power to you.
Yeah, I might get a nap. Some days I take a nap. Some days I don't. But
naps are good. I took one on Monday, and that's the first one I've taken in a long time.
Owen says try one more. Let's just try it. Richard, are you there? Not there.
This guy says Kluver still thinks Dusty Shannon's so active in the chat. Kluver still thinks Travis is fat. I do not. Travis looks unbelievable. He's me and him actually very close. If my beard was, if I went down to the goatee and had the grays going, me and Travis would be almost indistinguishable.
Well, there's some truth to that. You just need some clear rimmed glasses.
Yeah,
and some gray hair.
I guess really what this is me looking into the future.
It could be. That's a good way to look at it. I've lost 75 pounds,
which is unbelievable. What's the secret?
It was all diet. I did not work out once. I do
Crazy,
go on a walk.
huh?
My dog and I went on a walk for about an hour today, but
there you go.
it was basically eliminating carbs, sugar, and beer, and of course. So I drink a lot of vodka now, drink a lot of tequila.
Carbs and sugar completely? Like, are you keto?
Well, I mean, when I was really I've introduced it back into my diet because I've kind of hit my target. So I just had kind of in a maintenance thing. But for the longest time, I was only doing maybe 30 grams of carbs a day.
Wow. Ryan says cocaine.
Yeah, well, a little bump would do you. No,
I've never done coke. I've heard it's pretty much all you need though. You don't need much.
I've never done coke ever. I've only smoked weed like 3 times in my life. It just didn't do it for me.
I fake smoked weed one time to appease the people in the group, and yeah, that's about as far as I've gone drugs wise. I think my mom's watching the show too, so she just learned that for the first time. But it's okay. I did it. I was a good boy. Found ways around it. Always downtown in Iowa City after a game like this. By the way, those boys, they're probably going to get back in time to go out tonight. They'll be going out.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Some of them.
Do they fly to Wisconsin or do they bus?
I think I was trying to remember if we bust. I want to say we bust there at least once. Illinois, Northwestern. I feel like the close ones, for some reason or other, we bust to all of those once or multiple times. Sometimes we flew. We would fly back though, because the whole thing was like, you want to try and get back so that you can stay in that routine. Again, the whole sleep thing for Division I athletes who just beat their bodies up for 3 hours. That's a big one. So yeah, they'll get back. I mean, they're definitely, that game ended an hour ago. They're probably about to head out to the airport right now if they got out there quick, maybe another 10 minutes. And it's not a very long, I mean, people know it's not a very long flight from Madison to Cedar Rapids. So yeah, they might be back in time to head out by midnight, 12:30. And you'll find some guys out there. And it wouldn't have been me. I would have been moped right back to the house, knocked out. But if I ever was downtown, which was about a handful of times in my 5 years in Iowa City, the cup always had water in it.
Senorita Puffer says they're not going out.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
They're 20, 21, 22, and 23. They're going out. Senorita.
That's what you think.
Yes.
No, Mom, I'm going home to get in bed. All right.
Here's one for you. USC knocks off number 15 Michigan 31-13.
Really? That was the final score?
Yeah, 31-13.
I think that was that finished at like a 7-point spread. That's and it was out at USC. Beautiful scenes, by the way, from the sun going down over there before that game. Yeah, that's a hard one to kind of to pick apart. I'm not sure if it says more about Michigan or USC. Maybe a little bit about both. I think it definitely speaks to the travel thing, right? Another team that travels west and gets caught.
I think what we have here now, I mean, you look at Penn State getting beat. They've lost 3 in a row. You look at what Iowa did today, not against a great team, but in what they did against Indiana last week or 2 weeks ago, Indiana, what they did to Oregon. I think what you're really seeing now is more parity in college football than we have ever seen before. Ohio State is the best team in the country. I watched that team put a beat down. Their defense is solid, dude.
They're good.
Their defense is amazing. I haven't seen anybody look better than Ohio State. So, but I think there's so much. I'm not saying they're not beatable. I'm just saying right now I think Ohio State's the best team in the country. But I think we are seeing so much parity in college football now. And I think you can thank NIL and transfer portal for all of that.
And that was my original thought when all that I mean, that was over 4 years ago. I think NIL went live summer of 21. And obviously a ton of questions flooded in on our show about, what do you guys think of this? What about this? How do you feel here? How should it be structured? All this stuff. And we went through episode after episode, kind of hashing it out. What's it going to look like? And still to this day, it's so ever changing that it's like the answers aren't even relevant anymore. But my whole thing was, I kind of swayed to the side of, I think this will bring more parity, because because there was always people being paid, right? There's a lot of people still doing it the right way. KF and Iowa, one of those teams, many of them. But I know of several recruits that came up in my class or around my class that were from Iowa. Some of the bigger time guys, they'd go on a trip. Hey, a little recruiting trip to Alabama. Weird. Found $3,000 cash in my hotel room. How'd that get here? Guess I'll just pocket that. So stuff was going on, and it leveled the playing field. And it's paired with the transfer portal, where you can immediately, just look to Iowa City and the basketball team. You can just copy and paste a bunch of guys from a bunch of different universities into your school. Brand new team, brand new structure. And if those guys can figure it out, the turnaround can be very, very quick. Indiana is just obviously and repetitively mentioned as the glowing example of that. It's not always going to be that easy, but the speed at which you can do things now is crazy, and that certainly helps the parity. And it's interesting. I love when people are like, well, it's interesting. Saban got out right about the time everybody else could start paying players.
Ryan says, Travis coming through the hot take, Ohio State the best. Really? Jeez.
I don't think it's 100. I don't think it's far and away Ohio State. They're definitely in the conversation of like 2 or 3 teams that are the best. Man.
Okay, let me ask you this: now that we watched the teams today, give me your top 5 in order, top 6 Big Ten teams.
What did Miami do today? Oh, just Big Ten.
Just Big Ten. So
okay. My top Big Ten, my top 5 Big Ten rankings. Wow, put on the spot. We don't really do this. I'm going to keep Ohio State there because I don't disagree with you, but I think it's Ohio State and Indiana as like 1A, 1B, and then it's probably got to be USC as 3.
Really?
Am I forgetting someone?
You're going to put USC up that high?
Who else goes ahead of them? They just beat Michigan.
That's fair.
Penn State. It certainly isn't Penn State.
It's not Penn State.
I don't think it's Nebraska. I don't. Who would be at 3 ahead of USC? There are 18 teams, so I'm probably forgetting somebody that's doing well.
I know Oregon got beat, but would you put Oregon ahead of USC?
Probably, yeah. I probably still would put Oregon. So let's say Ohio State, Indiana, USC. Or Oregon, USC, and then to round out the top 5, T. Hink says Iowa. I don't know if Iowa grabs that spot. You're probably going to I'd hate to say Nebraska, but they're winning ball games.
Well, and you have to look at Nebraska's schedule, why Nebraska could be there in the end. Right now,
if you take away the first 4 weeks, UCLA. They're playing unreal the last 2 weeks.
That is crazy, but Nebraska's schedule is at Minnesota, at Northwestern, home against USC, at UCLA, at Penn State, then at home against Iowa. That's a manageable schedule.
It is, especially the USC game's going to be big. And I don't care if Penn State is just off their rocker, just not themselves. I don't care who you are. When you go to Penn State, it's not an easy place to win. And I know that Northwestern just did that today, but that is not, I don't care where the Huskers are at in week whatever and where Penn State's at in week whatever that is. That's not a game that's just going to be a walk in the park for Nebraska to go in and win.
Now I'm starting to, I think Nick Saban said it earlier that, the SEC is so much deeper than the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't think but I'm starting to think, do I disagree with him?
Yeah.
Do you agree with him?
No. I do not agree with him. I think that the SEC, talking about parity, I think the SEC Big Ten gap has especially with the addition of Oregon.
It's closed. I would agree with you, but right now, Indiana, Ohio State are the only two teams that knock my socks off. And Indiana didn't knock my socks off against Iowa.
I mean, look at some of the results. Ole Miss barely skated by.
Yeah.
Tennessee wins by 3. I mean, the SEC is so propped up on what happened
That's fair.
From the Tebow to basically like the Deshaun Watson era. And it's so there was a great 10-year run there, man. Maybe a little further than that. I think who won in 2020? Alabama still won in 2020. They're propped up by a very strong decade. It is just not that way anymore. It just isn't. I refuse to believe it. Georgia struggling with Auburn, or they were tied at 10, I believe, when I stopped watching that 30 minutes ago. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Indiana, Ohio State, USC, Oregon, Michigan, Northwestern, Nebraska.
Washington's up there.
But do you think the Big Ten will deserve 4 spots in the college football playoff out of 12? When I go through those teams.
Ohio State, Indiana. Yeah. It's going to depend on what Oregon and USC do the rest of the year. Yeah, because, I mean, at this point, you look at Ohio State and Indiana, you're like, yeah, those are 2 playoff teams. And Oregon and USC, you look at and you're like, there's some questions there. I think Oregon is, regardless of the loss today, that would be to another playoff team. I think they've proven that they can. I mean, they put the nail in Gundy's coffin. So I think they're a team. And then you're gonna have to look at USC, Nebraska, maybe Washington, maybe Iowa. It depends. There's a lot to play for, and this is where I started the show with. There's a lot to play for as a second-tier Big Ten team right now.
515-517-2303. Pat, are you there?
I hope so. I'm there. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Let's go.
Well.
We don't. Yeah, I've had
All
Owen,
right.
I've had Owen in here working on this, and he's got it fixed for now. What's up?
All right. Human interest story. In the late 90s, Hayden Fry recruited a young man by the name of Jerry Montgomery from Mesquite, Nevada. He came to Iowa City, started for 4 years as a defensive lineman, was very good. He's gone on to a very impressive coaching career. He coached with Brady Hoke at Michigan, with Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, with Mike McCarthy with the Green Bay Packers. He's currently the defensive line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. Tonight, his son started at middle linebacker for the Iowa Hawkeyes, wearing a green dot and calling the signals, and threw a shutout against Wisconsin. Very impressive. Very much an Iowa story.
Man, you are a historian. I like that, Pat.
Yeah, you made that sound good too. It was I'm enthralled right now. Just wanted to bring it up.
Thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it.
That is true. It's good to highlight.
Night.
It's good that Pat called in. It's good that Pat's alive. Now I'm starting to think that the other callers that Travis just found a bunch of dead people. I don't know.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Senorita Puffer. Are you there, Senorita Puffer? Who's this? Hello?
Mrs. Puff. Mrs. Puff.
Is this Justin? This is Justin. Can you hear me?
Sorry, Justin. Senorita Puffer was on there, then she disappeared. What's up, Justin?
I don't know, man. I mean, I put my name in there, and it went beep, and then you said, okay, so anyway, we're here. We're back. The phones are working.
We're
great.
back, brother.
I could hear Owen's frustration there a couple of times when I didn't go through. Hey, anyway, so question for Kluver. We got this yellow peonies from Ukraine about 3 years ago. We planted it right next to our white and pink peonies. The first year it came up. Year 2 and this year has not come up at all. Do you have any advice about that?
Wow.
Brother.
He's a botanist.
That's not good, man. I'm getting put on the spot.
I'm sorry.
No, that's funny, though.
This is Tyler. I'm sorry. You are not Jerry.
No,
I'm sorry.
not even close.
Wrong show.
Yeah. Not even close. That's good though.
Anyway,
That's good.
there's no reason this can't be fun. Yeah. Hey, you guys have pretty much said everything that that I've been thinking. I am pretty optimistic about the rest of the season. I know Wisconsin was really bad, but still, just with everything else happening to the teams that are ahead of us right now, or on the schedule ahead, I think the season's looking pretty bright for Iowa right now. They have been playing, pretty consistently, I think, especially on defense. So I don't know what you think about that. Consistency-wise, and Granowski seems like every game he's getting better and better and better. And I can kind of tell, I thought today that he looked a little slow, like he was not 100%. And he still played really well. I thought 17 for 24 or something like that. 100 yards passing. That's not a terrible day. And so I'm optimistic about the season. I would also like to second, Tyler, kind of what you were saying earlier in the show. A lot of people, throughout the years come on after a bad game or whatever, and it's the fire Ferentz thing or whatever. I've always been the eternal optimist when it comes to Hawkeye sports, anything. And, quite frankly, with all the changes happening in NCAA sports in general, not just football, basketball too, I don't think we could have asked for a better guy to have at the helm to get us through that. Are we winning the Big Ten championship every year? No. Are we competing for it? Yes, more often than not. Are we going to win a national championship under Ferentz? Probably not. I don't think we're going to get one under, doesn't matter who's there. But, for consistency's sake, and, the right guy at the helm, steering the boat, through choppy waters, I don't think you could ask for a better guy than Kirk. So that's all I got to say. Go Hawks.
Thanks, Justin.
Let's get Penn State.
Appreciate it. 515-517-2303. That's the number to call. For right now, the phone lines are back open. We got to take a break. We've only taken one. We've got 3 more to take. This is a quick 1-minute timeout. We'll be back with the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studio.
She's on the 17, the 45, the 29, and she scores big cash prizes from the Iowa Lottery by matching her numbers to the winning numbers on the new Iowa Blackout Scratch Ticket. Now she's entering for a chance to win an Ironman Suite experience at Kinnick Stadium, plus other fun VIP prizes. That's the best touchdown dance I've ever seen. Make the biggest play of the season today. Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
Hour number 2 of the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery Studios. Iowa shuts out Wisconsin tonight 37-0. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube tonight, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, start leaving your comments in the comments section, and you can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Ross Peterson is in Ireland, so he's taking the night off. He's earned that, and I know he went whale watching today and dolphin watching today. And Tyler Kluver, host of the Washed-Up Walk-ons, is filling in for Ross tonight. He'll be filling in for me next week. I think you're having a blast. I could be wrong, but I think you're having a blast.
I'm a no bullshit guy. If I was not having a blast, the game helped. The game helped a lot. But I'm really excited to be doing this. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's an honor.
515-517-2303. The phone lines are open. You will get an automated call screener now, just to let you know we're trying something different. So it's going to go to an AI call screener. You just have to leave your name. It goes in there. I know it's all this fancy tech stuff. Well, we try to be. What surprised you most today? I was dominant over Wisconsin.
You want to know what surprised me most, Travis? That we kept Mark in the game in the fourth quarter. What are we doing? Why is he out there?
That's a good point.
What are we doing?
Because there was no way Wisconsin was going to win that. I mean, if we have to find a couple negatives, was the clock management at the end of the first half, where they let a lot of time go off the clock, where they could have gotten at least one more play off to try to score a touchdown. They settled for a field goal, and then keeping Mark Granowski in there in the fourth quarter. They were not going to win that football game. You knew at halftime that game was over. You could have made the argument, Tyler, for the third quarter. You really could have.
I thought for sure that we would come out in that fourth quarter and we'd see Hank Brown, or I guess Hecklinski, and he rolls out there, and I'm like, I mean, he's, in my eyes, clearly not 100%. And I thought he was fine throwing the ball. I mean, nothing upper body's affected. So I thought he actually had one pass earlier in the game. It was called incomplete. I thought it was a catch to, I believe it was Large down the field. He kind of stumbled outside the pocket and then threw a dart down the sideline. And it was called incomplete that it hit the ground. I thought he was throwing it pretty well, but he just wasn't run game effective as much as he should. He had a couple. He pulled one on a RPO and ran for a first down, scrambled a couple times, but we didn't call as many design runs for him. Didn't need it, thankfully. But this isn't game number 2 against UMass where we're trying to, we talked about it. We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to find the flow. No, it's game 6. We found a pretty good flow against Indiana, now Wisconsin. We're halfway through the season. We got 6 more games, and we paid Mark Granowski $2 billion. Okay, let's keep him healthy so that we have him for the games we're trying to win. This game's in the bag. Congratulations, you're on ice. Hank, Jeremy, you're up. I had no idea what we were doing. Thankfully, it didn't matter.
515-517-2303. Who's this?
This is Hey Ho.
Hey Ho.
Hey. Oh.
What's up?
Hey. Oh.
Hey. Exactly. No, just good night to be a Hawk. I heard your comments on Fickell before, saying he's a good coach. I don't understand why anybody thinks he's a good coach. He was totally overrated.
Where have you been, by the way? We've been waiting for you to call all year long.
No, I've just been kind of hanging out. Listening to the new show. So,
well, it's good to hear your voice, first of all, because people were calling 2 weeks ago asking where the hell you were, and we were like, maybe you didn't find us, but we're glad you found us. Listen, Fickell won at Cincinnati, and he was able to turn that around. What I said was he's not a good fit at Wisconsin. Maybe you can't take away what he did at Cincinnati, and I'm not saying he won't be successful wherever he lands next, because he's not going to last at Wisconsin for long, but he's just not a good fit at Wisconsin. And it's a cultural thing. It's a style of play thing. And you could see tonight that they can't match up with anybody. They are in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit on Fickell. He was an interim coach at Ohio State. He's like one of the only coaches, other than maybe one bad year of Earl Bruce, that I could ever remember at Ohio State that a coach went 6-6 at Ohio State with that kind of talent. He also, coached at Cincinnati. Yeah, he won some games, but the miracle season he had was with a bunch of 6-year senior guys, and he was playing in the AAC. And then once he got to the playoffs, they were beat pretty easily. I think Bama beat him pretty soundly. I don't know. I just haven't really been impressed with him as a coach. I don't think he's that great, to be honest. I don't think he's a bad guy.
No. I would fall into you. I would say you're right as far as the Big Ten goes. He looks outmatched, outclassed, looks unorganized. You name it. I would probably agree with you when it comes to his ability in the Big Ten. I'm not going to push back on that too much. Tyler?
Yeah, I would say you are what you are, and Cincinnati was 4 years ago, right? So he currently is not a good coach. I was unaware. I knew he came from Cincinnati. I had never gone back and looked what he did. Impressive stuff. I mean, he did. You'd have to go back and look at who he lost to in some of those years. I'd be interested to see, because you're playing in the AAC. You can, you get a good team, and you could maybe run that and not actually get lucky. There's some other factors that's like, it's not just Fickell that put this together. 11-2, 11-3, 9-1 in 2020, 13-1 in 21. Yeah, I'd love to see those losses and some of the wins that he had and actually stack that up, but it really is just a fit thing. And right now in the Big Ten, he's a bad coach. He's a bad Big Ten coach. And the demeanor and just again, the phoning it in, it doesn't even look like he wanted to be there. Which, to be fair, I don't know if anybody on the Wisconsin side of things wanted to be there or wants to be there right now in general. But yeah, I'd have to lean with the caller. Not a great coach right now.
All right. Thanks, man. Hey, it's good to hear your voice. Don't be a stranger.
Yep. Thanks guys. Take care.
Man. 515-517-2303. Let's go to Corey. Corey, welcome to the Rush Radio Show from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Oh, just watching the end of the games for the night. True story. I got talking to Jerry Kluver today at the store, and I was talking so long my wife called, and I got in trouble for taking too long.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'm not kidding.
That's unreal.
So, the Wisconsin, they're bad, and they are what they are. But next week's Penn State game, I was kind of discussing this. Do we know who Drew Aller's backup is? Do we have any film? Is he going to be some super freak athlete we can't get on the ground?
I don't think he's a super freak athlete. His name is Ethan Grunkemeyer, and he has thrown 2 passes this year, or maybe a little more. That was one of the stats in his thing. He's a redshirt freshman, and no, I don't think he's some guy that's coming in with. Yeah, I don't think he's some guy that's coming in. He's going to have like the skill set of Aiden Childs, where it's like, oh, now we gotta defend a run guy. No, I think he's more of the same of what they're hoping he would be like to step in and just be like Drew. That was my worry, that they'd have some Aiden Childs type or somebody that was, you don't know who it is and they come in and they surprise you. I mean, he pose their own problems. Eighth ranked quarterback in the country out of his class, 100 ranked recruit in the country. So he's a good talent. Just no experience.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to let a guy look like a Heisman Trophy winner, right? I mean, that's
right.
That's kind of what worries you.
That's what I'm saying.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so, Corey. Thanks, man. I apprate it.
And then I think Graves and Kluver should start a club of, since Kluver was technically a lineman that almost got into the end zone and didn't quite make it.
Yeah. Me and Graves. Thank you for putting me and Graves in the same sentence. We're pretty much the same person, academically, athletically. When he goes on to make a lot of money at the next level, I'd love a cut of that. Yeah, I agree. We'll start a club, and maybe me and him could do a podcast.
You started more games than him.
Ooh,
I've started more games than anybody. That's my one thing.
That's right.
Did you do it all? Were you
starting all 4 years? Guys.
Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it.
Did you know that fun fact, Travis?
No, I did not know that fun fact.
To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure this is true. Someone can go back and tell me I'm wrong. Tyler Kluver is the record holder for most consecutive starts as an Iowa Hawkeye football player out of anybody in program history.
And you talked about yourself in the third person. That a boy.
Very important person.
515-517-2303. Senorita Puffer. What's going on?
This is Puff.
What's going on? I'm just glad to be able to get through.
Yeah. I know.
Very exciting.
Software can do some weird things with you, but we got it fixed.
And then I got to hear my dad on there, so I had to call in.
Oh.
Which one was Dad?
My dad's Pat.
Okay. That's your
Pat.
dad. Okay.
Family affair.
He's the historian.
Yes, he is. He knows everything and anything you need to know about Iowa football.
So he probably thinks Tyler and I are just full of shit all the time, doesn't he? He's like, these guys are full of shit.
No, he wouldn't listen if he thought that. Xavier Wampa had some big hits.
Oh,
tonight.
he was laying the wood. Laying the wood.
Well, I don't know about the wood, but yeah, he was pretty effective there for a while. So as a Southeast Polk person, I got to give a shout out to him for that.
Was he ever in your Spanish class?
Then, he was not in my Spanish class. He was in a different teacher's class, but I interacted with him some here and there. So he's a nice kid.
Nice
Guy. One of the things that confused me at the end of the game is when Luke Fickell, they could have tried to score at the end and not have the shutout, and he just kind of gave up. He took his headphones off. He had timeouts, and he just kind of...
He threw up the white flag.
He didn't care.
Yeah,
he threw up the white flag.
He was on Zillow.
Looking for a new house.
Yeah, my guy is looking for retirement houses. He's
You bring up a good point though. You wonder if as a coach, if you know you're out, right? If you know your time is ticking.
It feels a lot better when there's 25 M's
the kids that are on the field. For the kids on the field, though, don't get the shutout. Try.
There's a lot of business decisions being made for those kids as well. All about the money.
Yeah, good point. But you bring up a very good point, Senorita Puffer. I mean, that's because nobody wants to get shut out. But it was just such a bad game for Wisconsin tonight. I think it was just like, screw it, let's get out of here as fast as we can.
Yeah, because everybody else had gotten out of there already.
Yeah, they waited for jump around, and then they left after that. So.
And we jumped around.
Yes.
Very cool to see. That was so cool.
Iowa's won 4 in a row in the series.
Jumping around.
Iowa's won 4 in a row in the series now. 4 of the last 5, or 5 of the last 6.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wild.
Thank you, Senorita.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too. I was asking you, so of the surprises tonight, Indiana over Oregon, Northwestern over Penn State, Colorado over Iowa State, or Texas over Oklahoma?
Ooh, that's a good question.
And Texas, I mean, Arch Manning, he didn't have a lot of yards passing, but he was effective. His percentages was high. Probably one of his best games as a Longhorn. But there was some crazy college football today.
It was an awesome day. Awesome day.
And I didn't think it was going to be that great. I thought
it over-delivered.
It did, very much so.
Do you know if Mateer started for Oklahoma?
He did. Played the whole game.
Wow. Okay. So that brings that one up a little bit. But Texas kind of reeling. They had to show something there. I don't think it's Penn State getting beat. As crazy as that is, you could just tell there's something going on over there. I think the one I go after there is what was the first one you gave me?
Indiana, Oregon.
That one for me. That one was it for me. Because that's just a kind of, I was under the impression that Oregon was going to put Indiana in their place today. And there was going to be Google me, I win. Signetti was going to walk in and finally meet somebody that was like, okay, there's still levels to this a little bit. And they didn't flinch. And so that's impressive. I think Indiana has everyone's respect now. And do they play Ohio State this year?
They do.
Wow, that's going to be incredible then. So that's going to be the surprising one for me. It's not Penn State. I was a little surprised. We haven't talked about Iowa State, obviously not a Cyclone show here, but that one was, that's a bad loss.
It's a really bad loss. It's funny. I put that on X, and I just said, bad loss, Iowa State. And some troll gets on there and goes, ignore this guy. He doesn't know anything about sports. I'm like, oh, so it was a good loss? That's what my reply was. It was a good loss?
Statement loss.
Yeah. So, that takes Iowa State pretty much out of the conversation for the college football playoff. I think it does.
Iowa State? Yeah, they're screwed. They would have to have some serious chaos happen in the Big 12.
Well,
right now,
but It's happening right now. Arizona's beating BYU 17-14.
Okay.
Utah's up on Arizona State 14-3. Texas Tech
They beat Kansas.
They did beat Kansas. Texas Tech right now is kind of like your clubhouse leader.
Yes.
In the Big 12.
If there's some chaos where Iowa State can somehow through a tiebreaker, I mean, the problem with that is, and I, mathematically it's still there. They now have 2 losses in the Big 12. Do we really think that they're going to go undefeated the rest of the way out? There's nobody sitting there that are like, they'll probably run it 5 or 6-0 to finish out. So they're going to get another one with 3. Are you going to run into a tiebreaker scenario? Maybe some weird thing, but I don't think they can beat Texas Tech even if they get there. And the Big 12 is a 1-bid league. So
they may get 2. They may get 2,
Nope.
but they'll be. You don't think so?
Nope.
Wow.
They would because for them to get 2, that second one has to be. They need 1 loss. They need they have to be an undefeated team that goes again. They have to be undefeated in conference. I believe. I mean, I think this year there's some group of 5 teams that are more deserving, and again, they're going to all kind of eat each other too. But I think they're a 1-bid league. They had a chance.
515-517-2303. Let's go to Andrew in Minneapolis. Andrew, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery Studios. What's going on?
Guys, how's it going?
Good.
Very good.
Kluver, finally glad to get you on the Black and Gold Rush, man.
What's up, brother? I was here earlier.
The show.
I appreciate that, man. I was here earlier, and I ghosted Travis and Ross because it was all these night games. I had to psych myself up for a whole month to stay up.
Hey, I'm with you. Same thing as next weekend, right? Next weekend's the same story.
Yeah, I know. My sleep's just getting smoked.
Well, hey, real question for you. How much does the Iowa State loss today, potentially, affect Iowa? If, let's just say we potentially win out. I know it's a long shot, but say we win out. The Iowa State lost to Colorado today. And then if we beat Penn State, obviously they've had a couple losses in Oregon. If we beat them, I know you were close to the playoffs, right? With your history of playing, and how much does that affect us getting to the playoff at this point?
Thanks for reminding me about that, by the way. We were real close.
If I were to win out,
I mean, I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to be that guy, but hey, I was a big fan back then.
Yeah, we were real close to being able to be the ones to be just absolutely torched by Alabama in the instead of Michigan State. What were you gonna say, Travis?
Well,
I mean, yeah,
I said if Iowa wins out, we joked earlier that if Nebraska and Iowa win out and they get to that last game of the year, that could be Nebraska and Iowa playing for a playoff spot.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
to the question of Iowa State, because it is a weird dynamic where you lose a game and then you hope the teams you lose to win as many games as you can, because that is now done and gone, and you just want that to look as good as possible. It's going to matter sort of what Iowa State does the rest of the way. If they can pull it together and somehow be a 10-2 team and maybe make it into the Big 12 championship, that'd be great. If they can't, I think winning games at home versus Penn State, because here's what you have on the resume. Home win against Penn State. Don't care how bad they are. That's still a brand name program. Home win against Oregon. Away wins at USC and Nebraska. That just is too strong to probably leave out at 10-2 for the Hawks.
I would agree with you.
But man, that's a steep climb right now.
So quick question. Do you think the hardest game on the schedule now is USC after that win today?
Yes, I do. And I think it's
Agreed.
probably I think it's Oregon, but then the away feature of the USC game actually
at USC.
Yeah. I think that's
Hey, all I have to say is Hawks by a million, baby. Drake Kulik, my man.
Let's go.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Let's go, baby. All right, love you guys.
Thanks. 515-517-2303. We'll take another break, a minute timeout, and we'll come back with our last segment of the Black and Gold Rush, brought to you by the Iowa Lottery.
With the new Blackout Scratch ticket from the Iowa Lottery, you can win the game day experience of your dreams.
That'll be $5.
Enter for a chance to win a VIP experience cheering on the Hawkeyes from the Ironman Suite at Kinnick Stadium.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on therushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.
The final chance to win tickets to an Iowa football game from the Iowa Lottery is almost here. Enter non-winning blackout scratch tickets into your VIP club account via a second chance promotion before 10 a.m. on November 5th for a chance to win tickets to the game against Michigan State on November 22nd. You could win 4 stadium seat tickets, a parking pass, Hawkeye merchandise, and $250 in spending money. See iowalottery.com for details and also to get entered and to sign up for your VIP account from the Iowa Lottery. I'm Travis Justice. He's Tyler Kluver. And we are live from the Iowa Lottery studios tonight. Just looking at the Big 12 standings, and we're talking Big 12 now. You have Texas Tech at 3-0. You have Cincinnati at 3-0. BYU is 2-0 but getting beat currently. Arizona State is 2-0 and getting beat currently. Houston's 2-1. Baylor's 2-1. Iowa State's 2-2. Kansas 2-2. Kansas State 2-2. You're right. I was going to push back on you, but they are a one-bid league.
In a 16-team playoff,
they get
2.
Yeah.
In a 12-team playoff, I just don't think there's enough. There's not enough teams. There's going to be too many because now you're comparing resumes, Travis.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some teams in the SEC and the Big Ten that are trying to get a 4th. The SEC is trying to get 10. And they're like, hey, this team's only got 2 losses or 3 losses. How does that compare to the Iowa State Cyclones? And you're like, well, they lost to 2-4 Colorado, and they lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's maybe a good loss at that point, but like then they probably have one more. And you go to the SEC, they're in a tough spot. I think 16 is perfect for college football. That's my personal opinion. And that would get them 2. And the Big Ten and the SEC are going to argue, and hey, we should have this many automatics, and it's annoying. It really is. But I really think they only get 1. I think they get that automatic bid with the winner. I think hopefully it's just clean. Texas Tech just runs the table. They're the best team. And then, hey, that one team that makes it from the Big 12 every year has to go and do something. Arizona State, they did their part last year. They proved that they could play.
If Texas Tech goes unbeaten but loses in the Big 12 title game, do you think they get 2 in?
There's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance. That would be your only chance, I think.
I would agree with you. Look at the Big 10 standings right now. Indiana's at 3-0. Ohio State is at 3-0. USC at 3-1. Oregon at 2-1. Michigan at 2-1. Northwestern, Northwestern's 4-2 and 2-1. And then that win today it makes you go, huh? Northwestern.
Hey, I was watching part of that game. There were some guys playing hard. They've got 11 Division I athletes too. It's what my dad always used to tell me. We'd go up against, I was from Marshalltown, right? And my dad was my basketball coach and my football coach. And, Marshalltown never have a chance against the metro schools. I could list the 12 things of why. But we had a good class, and we had a class that cared all the way up through middle school and high school. And so we did compete often. And one of his famous sayings was like, hey, they're putting 5 on the court just like you guys. They're putting 11 on the field just like you guys. And if those 11 decide that day they're going to play harder, sometimes you get someone. Sometimes you can pick someone off.
Well, and you look at Northwestern, and it's about people, it's about fit. And the guy who was working for Pat Fitzgerald, who took over for Pat Fitzgerald, you don't have a cultural shift in the program like we saw at
Northwestern
Wisconsin.
has the same identity.
Yes. They know who they are. They go out there and they play knowing who they are. Iowa has that, but that's what Wisconsin has gotten away from. And that's been the surprising thing. And, I'm happy as hell. Call me conflicted here. I'm happy as hell that Iowa shut out Wisconsin. I'm happier in hell than that Iowa got the win. I'm not happy about Wisconsin being bad. Does that make sense?
Neither am I. I want them to be good too. They're one of our protected rivals.
Yes.
Because it doesn't do us any good other than a little bit of fun on Twitter for, the off season to be like, say this goes on for another 5 years and it just turns into we dominated for 10 years. Still pretty much have. Iowa State's got us 3 of the last 4. That one hurts. We dominated Iowa State and Nebraska.
But you like Iowa State being good, right? I mean, deep down.
Nebraska. Because then it's a respected win. This Wisconsin thing over the last half decade is turning into it's turning into like, it almost feels bad. You're like, well, this isn't fun. You're not even putting up a fight. And so, yeah, you want to win those games. And obviously in the moment, you don't want them to be good because you want to win the game. But in hindsight, big picture, we want Wisconsin to be a respectable program. I mean, if you're a Big Ten fan, you don't want anybody to suck. And it just feels wrong.
You have what 6 winless teams, 5 winless teams in the Big Ten right now. Michigan State's 0-3. Penn State is 0-3. Rutgers is 0-3. Purdue is 0-3. Wisconsin is 0-3. If you would have told me that Penn State would be in that winless mark 4 weeks ago, I would have said, "There's no way. There's no way."
Can you imagine the betting slip of someone who took Oregon? I mean, Oregon was, I don't know, that was a close one, so not going to make a lot of money there. But Oregon against Penn State, money line. Then UCLA against Penn State, money line. And then Northwestern against Penn State, money line. That would be an unbelievable take-home.
Because man, that's crazy.
I mean, they're sitting right there. They're over there in Pennsylvania right now. And they are looking at each other like, what is going on? Like, they have they're in more shock. Who's in more shock, Wisconsin or Penn State? I think it's Penn State. Yeah.
Penn State is 100%. 515-517-2303. Let's go to John in New Jersey. John, welcome to the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call again, Travis.
What's up, man?
I wanted to ask you guys a related question that goes back to something that me and your co-host that we went back and forth on Twitter about a month to 6 weeks ago. Is 8-4 now still considered a success at 4-2 and halfway through the season? Or I've heard a lot of comments and a lot of calls on all the Hawkeye post games that we're now starting to drink some of that playoff Kool-Aid, which I'm for. I'm for. At this point now, I'm thinking Penn State fell down. We played Indiana by 5. We lost close to Iowa State. Now Oregon looks like it's doable in Kinnick. Just heard that USC is going to be the hardest game because it's a road trip out west.
Do you agree with that?
Is 8-4 still considered a success, or is 10-2 what we're now shooting for?
That's a good question. It is a very good question.
I mean, 10-2 is what you're shooting for, but we have to. Yeah,
I would say 8-4 would be average, John. 9-3 would be a success because I could see them losing one of those games, and then 10-2 is the icing on the top.
I think now I think that's. I think I just got. I'm sorry. Can you remind me who the co-host's first name is? I am blanking.
Tyler.
I'm sorry, Tyler Kluver. I just had a brain fart.
I'm a very forgettable guy.
Well, I mean, at least you played on the Hawkeyes. I drive truck for a shipping company, so no harm, no foul. I'm the least of all three of us. Anyway, I'm with you, Travis. I think 8-4 now. We would now consider average. I mean, it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be good. But now that you see where the lay of the land is, I think every Hawkeye fan, and probably the coaches and the players, you tell me this, Tyler, do the players know now that they, in the locker room, the next 6 games, we control our own destiny if we want to make the college football playoff? Are they thinking in the locker room, or are they just going one game at a time and just trying to stack wins, or are they aware that they're like, that's what we're shooting for?
The players in the locker room are thinking about Penn State right now, and they are going one game at a time.
Okay.
And every time they turn the tape on Monday morning, they know that they can beat the team that they're playing. And I know that sounds like some former player BS. It's so true. I was the long snapper, and there wasn't a single game we ever played where I was like, I don't think we can beat these guys. And the reason there's a disconnect from fans to the guys on the inside of the program,
sure,
is the fans just don't
sure.
They don't watch the tape. They see the records, they see the highlights,
right,
and they build these teams up and these kids up in their minds as Ohio State's unbeatable. They can't be touched. We stomped them by 30 my senior year.
Well, right. Well,
so
if that was the case, then we wouldn't have had those. We wouldn't have had those upsets like you had 55-17 with the what was it? The dead cat or the cat polecat?
The polecat. Yeah.
Now I sound like a boomer when I say that.
No,
it was the polecat play. Yes. We wouldn't have had that. We wouldn't have had the upset against Michigan. I mean, it's been 11 straight or 13 straight losses to ranked opponents.
11.
At some point, you got to get off the schneid. And I would hope that it would be November 8th against the Oregon Ducks. I mean, I think for Hawkeye fans, if you're going in and you win that game and you've won every game until then, I think then you're going to see the fans. They're going to go through the roof. And then I just hope that the players just keep that mentality like we're just chopping wood one game at a time. Because I think that was the mentality. Wasn't this the mentality that you guys had on the 2015 team? It was just one game at a time.
It's that way for every team. It happened to work out very well in 2015. But yeah, man, back to the original question, the whole 8-4, 10-2. It is so tough for me, especially knowing what this schedule was like at the beginning of the year. To say 8-4 is average, that burns me as a player because I know how hard it is to win football games, and I didn't even.
I know because we went back and forth. I know
it burns me when anyone's like 8-4 is average. I won't accept it, and this is gonna always go back to your personal perception and expectations of a team. Mine just happened to be carved and crafted, those expectations, by being there for 5 years and seeing how easy it is to lose to North Dakota State. Like a couple things go wrong and you're now on the L column, right? So I don't think 8-4 is average. I don't think that it's
not elite.
It certainly doesn't. It's not overachieving. It's not what you're shooting for, but it doesn't mean that it's a failure. I think when people hear average, they think failure. And I 8-4 would not be a failure against us. That means right now, as we sit here, that we have to win. We have to win 2 games of Penn State. We're just throwing Michigan State and Minnesota as 100% wins. That's not reality. And then we have to win.
But Tyler, if they beat Penn State next week, your expectations change, right? I mean, and I think I'm kind of with John here. I mean, all of a sudden you're looking at it going, okay, you could have beaten Indiana. You lose 20-15. They go to Oregon and win. You go, okay, maybe we're better than what we think. You beat Penn State, and now the expectation changes.
It does?
The expectation now is not a bowl game. It's not.
Can I Can I step in here and say something, Travis?
Hold on real quick. The expectation from now on for every team in college football is the college football playoff because that's all that matters anymore. Go ahead, John.
What I was going to say is I know that Tyler was probably a fan growing up, and then he got to see 5 years inside the program, the attention to detail, how much time you're pouring in the off season, going to class, doing the off-season nutrition and weightlifting programs, and then what you're busting your ass with during the season. So I get that he's like, there was never a game that we didn't think we could beat these guys. We always walked into a game thinking we could beat them. I come with that same mentality of, because of the last 50 years, when I say average, I don't mean Tyler probably thinks average is probably 6-6. When I mean average, that's the product of the average output of the last half century, which is an average of 8-4. So for me, over 43 years of being a Hawk fan on this earth, that is now not the floor or the ceiling. That's just the expectation. So anything above that is above average.
So
since that's the data, as a fan, like, I don't know what it looks like as a player, but as a fan, I'm like, 9-3, that's great. 10-2, I hope we get that, because then I'm going to be spending the small equivalent GDP of a South American country to get to that game.
I feel you. I
like it, brother.
Well, let's be honest. And if that happens, you're going to see if there's some sort of game, Hawkeye fans, whether they can make it or not, they're going to travel, because that would become the biggest game that the Hawkeyes have ever played.
Good call, John. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, thank you.
No. You got something more? Oh, he hung up.
I get where he's going there. I do. And I fully understand this is average for Iowa. You got to be real careful when you start doing that. Because if you start doing that, then Nick Saban and what he's done in Alabama, well, it's just average that we win 11 games. You're playing a dangerous game. Bo Pelini, 9.2 games a year.
Hey, Frank Solich won 9 games a year. I mean,
sends a program into the depths of college football for a decade. Like, it's just.
But at this point, you're still playing with your head coach, right? I mean, Kirk Ferentz has been there 27 years.
Yeah.
It would be nice if he could get to a college football playoff before he goes off into the sunset.
It would.
I think that's the expectation. I mean, you don't think Indiana fans now, after 1 year, expect to get to the college football playoff? They do. They do.
As well, and this is
once you taste it, we had Jan Jensen on a week ago. You're like, hey, you got to the final. Is that? And she's like, well, we're not a blue blood yet, but when you get that taste, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, when you get a taste of crack, you want to hit the crack pipe again, too. It doesn't 100%. Mean it's a smart idea.
No.
This is where I step in, and I have, for 8 years, I've had this. We probably could have more fans if I didn't do this, but this is where I have to remind people, your illogical, emotional fan brain is telling you things and driving you in directions that are not, that you should not follow, because it will get you in places where you get in trouble. And that's a really smart way of, it's a really roundabout way of me saying that fans are dumb.
They're not dumb. They're passionate.
I'm going to say it again. Fans, a lot of them, no one in this chat, no one listening to this show, of course.
No, because the smartest fans in the world listen to this show.
Correct. Especially tonight and next week.
Of the games that they have left, Penn State, Minnesota, Oregon, USC, Michigan State, and Nebraska. Let's be honest. They're all winnable. They're all losable. Every one of them, winnable and losable.
Yes.
But it doesn't come down to that as much as it does matchups, right? So if you were to look at matchup, just right there, what would you say is the toughest matchup?
Oregon.
I would agree with you.
Oregon, because what they present on an offensive front of speed and the style of offense that they run, and to be honest, not even just speed, but like they have recruited very, very well on their offensive and defensive lines. The physicality and speed of game, if that thing gets out of hand, is something that man-to-man the Iowa roster is going to struggle to keep up with. And that's the same thing usually that we go up against with Oregon or Penn State, Ohio State, those teams, is that we are generally okay athletically against Minnesota, other teams around here. when we go up against the big boys for 60 minutes, the athleticism is just a little bit too much. The beatdown is just a little too much. And Oregon has that capability matchup wise. Again, Aller really scared me because he's done it to Iowa before. The way to just pick apart, sit back, be patient against that Iowa defense. Now, I feel pretty good about that. The matchup gets a lot better next week. Otherwise, I don't know. Nebraska is a little scary because, again, Rail is a good quarterback, but they've got issues.
Here's where Nebraska's scary now. And I'm a little closer to Nebraska because of where I live, right?
Right.
But they're finally winning those close games.
They are.
Last week when they beat Michigan State, they would have lost that 3 years ago. Today, they would have lost that game if it was 3 years ago.
Yep.
You're finding a way to win close games, and that just mentally, that puts you in a completely different place when you know you can win a close game.
Sure does. Sure does. And they're, what are they, 5-1?
5-1.
One game away from being bowl eligible with a lot left on this table. Nebraska's feeling very, very good about themselves right now.
Today was their first true road game. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's
their
crazy.
First true road game.
Yeah.
And they got a pretty decent, favorable schedule as they move forward for the rest of the season. So, with that, we're going to call it a night, Tyler. We're going to let you get to bed, man.
Hey, let's go. I'll be asleep by 11:15. We love it.
We want to thank Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank for helping bring you the Black and Gold Rush. We want to thank the Iowa Lottery for helping you bring the Black and Gold Rush. Next week, it's Penn State, a 6 o'clock game on Peacock. Ross Peterson and Tyler Kluver will be hosting the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery studios. So make an appointment for it, and we promise the phone lines will be 100% up. We got them working late. But
it's a big promise.
I'm making that promise because I won't even be in the studio. I'm going to blame my son if it doesn't work next week.
You can blame me again.
No, I won't blame you. For Tyler Kluver, I'm Travis Justice. Thank you for listening and watching the Black and Gold Rush live from the Iowa Lottery studios.
She's on the 17, the 45, the 29, and she scores big cash prizes from the Iowa Lottery by matching her numbers to the winning numbers on the new Iowa Blackout Scratch Ticket. Now she's entering for a chance to win an Ironman Suite experience at Kinnick Stadium, plus other fun VIP prizes. That's the best touchdown dance I've ever seen. Make the biggest play of the season today. Enter and see rules at ialottery.com/VIP.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You like listening to Travis and Ross talk about the Hawkeyes, so tune in when they talk about everything else. Listen to The Rush with Travis and Ross every day on the rushradio.com, YouTube, the TuneIn app, and wherever you get your sports content.